how are you? Good. Okay. So I just want to do an introduction because the real class is going to start after me with Edu and Oscar. They have prepared something very cool. I really like it. So I'm gonna go fast. I want to show you a tool that I don't know if you already know. Probably yes. Sandy, should we? It's recording. Okay, perfect. Um, do you know if TTT? No.
If this then that,
Yes. Yes.
I used it like 10 years ago or something like that for trying to be where with my RSNC or something like that, but I lost track of it a long time ago.
Okay. So then you know it's a classic. It's a web page, if you can see like this, or it's a service of services. Okay, it's not open source. I'm sorry, but it's nice because you can prototype ideas like something easy and fast. Okay, so if you go to ifttt.com and you can register with your email. Okay, and then okay now, and then if you go to the right, how it works is like with this sentence: the if something happen, then do something. It's easy. It's a conditional. You already know this. And what you can do is connect services that some product or brand or website or web page has developed for IPTT. For example, if you go here, you can choose a service. There's like millions of services. You can connect your email. Sorry, this. You can connect your email, mail, your office mail, or your Google Docs, or you can connect your Twitter, or I mean, you can connect different options.
A good one
And
is to connect each time you like a YouTube video, it creates a playlist.
sorry.
A good one is one that connects YouTube with Spotify, and each time you like a video on YouTube, actually it creates a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use YouTube service or Spotify. Yeah, and then for in our case for Arduino, they only have one service that it's called, and it's important. This is webhooks. Okay, is this one. Is the only one that you can use for your do-it-yourself projects. Okay, and the way is okay. You choose the your service. In that case, you can do a request. So how it works is in your Arduino code that I'm gonna show you now. You can do a request to your IFTTT service. In that case, is webhooks. So we are gonna choose this. You should give a name. It's like a receiver. For example, in that case, do Fab Academy. You can put the name that you prefer, okay? And then create the trigger, and then is the other option, the output. Okay, what do you want to do? Connect with Google Sheets, or connect your because you want to record the data that you have in your sensor in a Google Docs sheet, or you can do a tweet, for example. You can connect with Twitter and say, okay, I'm gonna do a tweet every time, post a tweet every time that this event happens. Okay. Whether you can change the text of the tweet. For example, hi Pop Academy. You can keep the name of the event, or you can remove it, whatever you want. For example, you can do, if you want to put the value of the sensor, you can add an ingredient. In that case, if you are going to send just one value, just one value. Okay, it's quite easy. No? And then once you click on the create action, Okay, just check it if it works and then finish. So now we have the receipt, just the receipt. Okay, now it's not gonna do nothing because we didn't connect our Arduino to this yet. Okay. For the Arduino, okay, this is more or less the code that you need to use. First, include a library that can connect with your with IFTTT. In that case, IFTTT maker, but there are some others. Okay, so if you Google, and I will put it in the documentation, you can use IFTTT maker or webhooks, or I mean, there are more than one. Then connect your MCU or Wi-Fi PCB, and then two important things. First, the key. Okay, this is the key, and it is, I mean, this is not valid for now. That's why I put it here. But in your case, when you are in IFTTT, if you go to my services, you will find all the services that you have in your account. Okay, so once you use the webhook, probably, so as you see, I have everything connected. And then if you go to webhooks, click, and then you go to settings. You can find here the documentation, how to use it, how to connect it. But if you go to settings, then this is mine. Okay, I'm gonna hide it. But this is here you can find like the key that you can use in your code. Okay, so just copy, paste it in the code, and then if you remember at the beginning, I define an event name. In that case, do action 5, but you should put the same event name in the IFTTT than in the code. Okay, and that's all. Create an object with the key and the client, and then when in your code, select in your code when do you want to send the message. In that case, it was for a LDR sensor, and then I use this function trigger event, where I pass the event name and the value of the sensor. If you want to send more than one value, then comma the other value. Okay, and that's all. Once you have it, you put it in your code, and take care one thing. If you send more than one event each second, probably you're gonna have a problem, because they try to control this. You cannot send a lot of events per second, so try to do it like each minute, each 20 minutes, something like this. That's the idea. So you put it in your PCB, and then you can go to, in that case, for Twitter, and then you will find something. In that case, I didn't send it because I don't have my MCU here. But if you put here, you will find that in the Twitter, it's published. And the nice receipt, in my opinion, is first, you can use social media or Spotify. Imagine that you put in a button in your PCB, and then every time you click, you can listen your favorite song in Spotify, something like this. And more or less, this is the overview of the IFTTT. I don't know if you have any question, or Edu, do you want to ask me something that I forget? I mean, this is not for real project. It's just for prototype things, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is to have, let's say, for example, you can publish a database and have activations between services that usually they are much more difficult to use. For example, to connect to Spotify or to YouTube, you need to create an API key, you need to embed in your code, you need to have some security passwords, and that means the curve of actually using that process really stiff. With this, we cannot do the opposite. We flatten everything. We cannot do a lot of things, but we have little access to a lot of services that in other ways will be really, really difficult.
Yeah.
For example, you can send a notification. For example, I have a send notification that each time is gonna be raining on 1 kilometer area of my home, send me automatic message so I take the umbrella. And this, you can send it back, for example, to ESP that lights a little cloud with blue at your home that actually warns you in a visual way. I just posted in the chat another one that is, for example, how to use FTTT to update some Google spreadsheet. Actually, to update a Google spreadsheet, for using that in a more like coding way, you will have to actually have a Firebase connection. You need to establish a webhook to connect to it, like everything by coding, and that's much more complicated. And the start time is longer. It takes like 3-4 times more time than using these services. So for a small, simple thing that you need to be constantly updating, but it's more like, let's say 24, like 50 updates a day, not something that you are updating constantly, is quite simple and is quite reliable.
For example, we use this in when we do learning experiences, and we want to, because we don't have a lot of time, we have like 1 hour and a half or 2 hours, we use it to prototype things fast. In that case, we use it with a university, and they should use sensors like LDR or a bot or something like this, and connect with one service. And it's something that if you want to, I want to test this, okay, let's gonna do it. But if at the end it's gonna be a product, then do it with by your own, because for security reasons, for everything.
And also the service, like is for free, so sometimes it doesn't update exactly when it needs to update or has some delays, but it works at the end. It works, but it's not completely reliable, like for making a professional product. That's the only point. But the learning process of using this service is super easy, super easy, and it's really powerful in a way that you can control almost every IoT devices and IoT services that you can find nowadays.
You can, for Android, for example, you can do a call if you want, okay, and then send the message in the call with a robot from your Arduino. But in FTTT, not all the services are free. There are some that depend on the brand that you should pay for it. Okay.
Like nowadays I have been hovering a little bit, and you can even control like the Roombas or Xiaomi. Like Xiaomi allows to control everything. The same as Philips Hue, like all the IoT devices that now all the gadgets that they sell us everywhere, they are in this service. So you guys be able to trigger your Roomba each time you get out of home because of GPS localization, and you can send back, for example, another thing that is the Roomba hit a wall, warns you with blanking and LED. I don't like silliest thing ever, but really interconnected.
Yeah. We also use it to record data, to save data from the sensor to a sheet, and it's something easy and fast, and you don't need a lot. Okay.
It doesn't have to be strictly related now with your final projects or your, let's say, Fab Academy assignments of the PCBs, because you can connect everything. For example, you can automatize emails to automatically being copied as subjects to HackMD or whatever. So you can automatize things that you do daily, and they are not really like brain demanding, let's say. And you can automatize these kind of things to kind of simplify your life, so that you need to. I'm pretty sure that Xavi Alice has a topic for Trello that automatics create Trello sheets.
You can find Trello here, yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Also, the community share their own receipts, so then you can like, okay, let's gonna connect YouTube with Trello, and you don't know how to do it, you can find one here that you can use. Okay. So crazy ideas, FTTT, professional ideas. Now Edu and Oscar are gonna show you. I'm gonna explain you. What else? Also, it's nice because you can prototype you can do an assignment with this in less than 1 hour. I mean, interface, for example, you can use it. If you are in a hurry now that you need to do assignments and you don't know how to do it, use IFTTT. Any questions? I'm gonna send you now we will put it in the documentation, but also I will send you the link to the HackMD that we use for the learning experience. I'm gonna put it in the chat, Benji.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Should we move on to the next part then? I guess that you don't need a break yet.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's start. I want to give you a small sneak peek of what we are gonna do today. I don't know if you see my screen at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, Pablo and Juanita. I don't know if Juanita is here, but yeah, you are. Pablo and Juanita, I use your names as an example. So what we're gonna do today is a dashboard, and now Santi fucked up our little plot, in which you will all send data to a remote server, and we will have a Node-RED server mapping that data and putting it into a graph and these things. And also internally, I will be redirecting that data to some other clients, in this case, as well you, so that you can do things with it as well on your side. This is just a sneak peek. You see that Edu is sending his coolness level since, well, early this morning. And Santi has just started. And we have some little things in here that we will start little by little populating with as soon as you start sending data to us. The idea is that this is going to be a very hands-on session. So I will give you a very brief introduction about what MQTT is, about the resources that we use for building this dashboard, and about the code snippets that you can use to send data to us and receive data from us. You should have received an email as well yesterday with the credentials that you need for this. And if you haven't, we have a problem in the FabLab, let's say servers or where the Gmail accounts that set the aliases, and they come back as a spam, even if we send them ourselves. So we apologize for that. I think at least Edu yesterday sent in like a copy or like a hidden copy to almost all of you. But if someone doesn't have it, please put it in the chat, and we will try to send them the credentials to you individually. Okay. And what else? I'm gonna use. I don't know if someone could be, while I explain this thing, in charge of checking the chat. I don't know if Edu, Santi, or Xavi could be in charge of checking the chat and sending the credentials to the people that don't have it while I explain the session.
Oscar, I think that no one from MDev has the mail because we were talking about it this morning. Well,
okay, I will send it back one by one. Okay, it might take a while.
Thank you. Or do you have a link that you could share in this chat or something?
As we don't want to do because of safety reason, because we are connected to like basically the internal network of Óscar in his house, and basically you can connect with a port, etc.
Okay, so what are we gonna do is there are two places that you will have.
So we can all see it.
What?
Maybe just put it in this chat instead of like sending it to everyone one by one?
No, I'd rather not, because this chat then gets published in the with the recording.
Oh, okay.
Georgia, like in the mail, there
Yes.
is the keys to get
Sorry.
inside the network of Oscar Homes. So we don't want to share it like that.
I mean, I try to secure that as much as possible, but I'm not a hacker, so I don't want to risk it. And I'm going to close the sockets and everything after the session, but I just want the sessions to go smooth and not have any like potential people coming in or whatever. Okay. Anyway, so what are we going to do is make something very similar as what you did with Victor and Guillem long time ago in the beginning of the MDev course, but we're going to do it this time remotely and with more people. The idea is that we will have the same piece of hardware. There's a Raspberry Pi that has what we call an MQTT broker. It's a small server that basically handles data in and sends data out with some addresses. I will explain this in a second. And on top of that, we have a dashboard that you can see in the address that this I can put in the chat, no problem. Where is the chat? The chat is here. So there. So that you can visit that dashboard and you will be able to see the data. If you know something about Node-RED, you will know that if you remove the UI part, you can access the definition of the flow in Node-RED, but it's protected by a password so that no one can edit except myself, because otherwise we will have a lot of conflicts. But feel free to try and hack the password if you want.
Where did you send the link? Because there's nothing in the chat.
There's nothing in the chat. Oh, sorry. It was sent privately to Edu. I put it again. There you go.
Nice.
Okay. So the idea is that in the networking and communication class for this week, you have a link that is do-it-yourself network class, which is what I'm going to explain very briefly about MQTT, and that you have a repository in this link.
Oscar.
What?
Se ha debido caer el servidor del IAC porque no funciona ningún email del IAC de los alumnos. Me está reenviando todo rechazados.
Okay.
¿Qué hacemos?
We could all write our emails on the chat. I mean, like the guys that need that, and that's it, no? Like our personal emails, I mean.
Okay, for example, your email is student.iac.net, no? The Finnish part. It's because it's rejecting me all your mails, one by one.
Edu, is students, con S.
Students, yeah.
Ah, vale.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I think that Andrea ideas is good. Just send in a private message to FA Academy VC and Zoom, which is Edu right now, your personal email, and you will receive it there. I think that's the best.
Edu, I did receive your email though on the student's ID.
I received the email too on the IAC email.
It's weird. It's rejecting some of them, most of them, but not all. It's super weird. Well, I will
Let's do it. Let's do it that way.
The ones that didn't receive the mail, just send me another Gmail or whatever address, and I will send you one by one. Okay.
Yeah, I already sent it to all of them. So let's see if it's. I don't know.
Remember to send them instead of in the chat, directly in a private link to Edu.
And Oscar, if it's not in the worst case scenario, I can, I will not put the chat to
Okay.
to everything. So don't worry.
Okay. So I just put in the chat 2 links for the places that you will find available documentation. The first one is a repository in GitLab in which we explain what we are doing and also instructions if you want to replicate it. in a Raspberry Pi. And there are two files in there that we already tested. One of them is the one that Edu is using for sending data at this very moment, and is posting the data in the Node-RED dashboard that you have in the link. And the other one is a Python script that I tested yesterday as well. The only thing that the Python script has to run in your computer, and you will probably have to read data from the serial port in your computer to send the messages on your computer run in Python. Okay, so the two examples are meant for different use cases, let's say. One of them is for those that don't have an ESP32 or a Arduino or similar, which is, and in this case is the example.py. And this you will run in your computer, will read serial data from your Arduino and will send us the data. And the other one, the example.ino, is the case that you would use if you have a Arduino or ESP8266 or this thing, okay? If you have any other, wait a second, if you have another possibility, for example, you don't have Python or something and you would rather do it by Grasshopper or things like that, there are also clients, and I don't put any restriction on this. You can use whichever you want as long as you just post the data to our broker with the credentials that we provided you. Yes.
If you don't have even an Arduino, is there an option to do this?
Yes, you can just run then the Python code and put fake data in it.
Okay.
Something like that. Okay. So just feel free to visit the repository and make any comments about it.
There's one little thing in the example for the Arduino. I think you're using the ESP8266 Wi-Fi library.
Yeah, you would have to modify that if you want to use the ESP32 instead, and you just put Wi-Fi instead of the ESP8266.
Just erase the ESP8266 and it will automatically catch the Wi-Fi library.
Yeah. The idea is that in the code is not ready to plug in, so you have to modify things. You have to implement your own sensor reading. You have to change where you send the data to. You have to do something with your topic and everything. So the point is that you actually use this session as a hands-on session, and we will be here to support you. Even we have to define a little bit because we haven't done this at all during the COVID-19 thing. Probably we need to jump into separate meetings or something like that so that we can talk one-to-one or something, but we will figure it out. So just take this as an experiment, but that could be a nice experiment in which you end up with your assignment done at the end of the session. So to get it started and for me to stop talking, what we're gonna do is to start using a protocol called MQTT, which is let's say there's no image in here, so I will use this one. It's a protocol that sends messages over TCP/IP, so basically over the internet with addresses and like say payloads that have a destination. And what we do is that we have what we call an MQTT broker, which is a machine. In this case, it's a Raspberry Pi that I have in my right here. Well, you don't see it, but it's right here in my desktop. That is handling the data that comes from different publishers. In this case, you will be publishers when you send us sensor data, and handles that and sends also data to what we call subscribers. In this case, one device can be both, can be a subscriber and a publisher. And the idea is that you are, in this case, both of them, so that you can do actions when you receive a message, and that you can send us sensor data so that other person can do actions in the group. The idea, for example, is that, for example, Benjamin is sending me temperature data of the room. I can forward that to Antoine, and he can turn on an LED whenever the temperature is over 30 degrees, based on Benjamin's earth temperature. Okay. Now, the way that MQTT works is based on topics. So when you send data, the idea is that you have a hierarchical structure, and not all the data is put together in the same structure, but you somehow tidy up that data beforehand, and you send it in an organized way. So how you do it is that when you send a message, for example, you want to send a value of the temperature, for example, like 25 degrees, you send the value of the temperature, and before that, you include a little descriptor that will will route where that information has to be put in. And that's what we call topics. Topics in MQTT are separated by slashes, and you can have topics, subtopics, subtopics, etc., and can make a tree of information. And the idea is that we will use sensor data that you send to us as with the topic input, and data that I send to you with the topic output. So I will be listening to input data from you, and I will send you output. The way that we will route to each of you will be with your name. So we will have input, in this case, Antonio, and the value of the temperature. So this will mean that I am receiving a temperature value from Antonio.
Page, Oscar?
What?
Put a little zoom in the web page, please. Marco is saying in the chat. So
to make
the text
zoom in.
is here, yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So the idea is that if, for example, Antonio is sending me temperature and the temperature value, in this case, temperature would be 25, then I would know that this is an input, and that comes from Antonio, and that I can plot it and, for example, redirect that to someone else. How do I redirect that? I have an output topic. I miss, there's a typo here, is output. And you would have to listen to this. And in this case, it would be Pepito. So I would be sending this value to Pepito as an output, and I will be sending, I don't know, the value or a Boolean or something like that. So you would be publishing data in input and your name / the value, and you will be receiving data in output, your name / your value. Is that clear? Okay. So just so you know, you can use wildcards if you want to listen to everyone's data. In this case, for example, if you wanted to use to read, for example, all temperatures, imagine that we had 3 subtopics. You could do input, put this wildcard character in here, and then temperature, and we will return temperature of all users. Or in what we call multi-levels, which would mean that if you just put output / hashtag, it will return all outputs from all users. Okay, so that you can do wildcarding as well. The idea is, well, so if you want to do this with Arduino IDE, you will need to install the PubSub client library. That you have it is available in the Arduino IDE and the library manager. If you look for PubSub client, it's supported in ESP8266, ESP32. So if you haven't done it yet because of email problems, do it now. And there's information about the library in these links and some code examples here in the documentation. There's in the docs, you will find like what each of the parts of the code do, and you will have a code example with some areas that you have to modify yourselves. For example, the MQTT server, your Wi-Fi password, and the user, and the MQTT password as well. And here, for example, you have to set the topic to publish. So in this case, you would put input / your name and the message that you're sending. And in some other areas, you have to read your sensor data. And when you receive the data, you use the data that you received in this area. So you will see, just go through the code, take a little, like 2 minutes to read through it and see what each of these things do. For those that don't have an Arduino, there's a Python script also ready for you. You need to have 2 libraries ready. And they are PySerial and PAHO MQTT. And there's another example here also by chunks that you can have a look at it. And if you want to get the raw code, is also in this repository. So basically, it will be the same way. You have to subscribe to a topic and publish into a topic. And basically, I will be reading all that. Once you have this more or less done, since probably you will put your name in a weird way, I will be checking this is the backend, let's say, the Node-RED dashboard. And I already see that, for example, Arman is sending data or someone with Arman's name. So I see input Arman. I don't know if it's Arman actually or not. Is it you? Yeah. So Arman is already sending us data and he's put it in here. So I will start arranging this so that these graphs look nicely. But you see that we are already receiving inputs and outputs. So I'm taking the inputs and putting them, for example, if I receive an input that says Pablo, I will put it in this little, I don't know how you call this thing, indicator thing. And then I will redirect it to someone else so that you can receive the data and do something with it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and I'm receiving all this, and this is the backend that is running. This will be also available for you to replicate it if you want it, and all available in here in this README in the repository, so that you can first set up the Raspberry Pi, put MQTT, Node-RED, secure it, and then run and test it. And I don't have anything else to say. Please tell us if you have any.
The MQTT server has to be a Raspberry Pi or can be a laptop?
No, it can be anything. Yeah, it's just a
okay.
script that can. It's just a script that can connect to the internet and that has access to TCP/IP. Actually, you could put this in a web service, or it could be whatever you want.
Cool. So let's try to do
just one thing. If you want to do things command line stuff, there's or the command line way, when you configure the Raspberry Pi, the same things that you use for the Raspberry Pi, you can also use them on your laptop. So you can listen to Mosquito things, topics on your laptop as well. And so MQTT, sorry, and that library is called Mosquito with 2 T's. And you can run, check, and I put some useful Mosquito comments for debugging in this part. Okay. So let's go. Let's start. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and that's it.
Oscar, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
The red note that you sent the link is not available. It's require a password. So if it's possible to just share the console that you're reading the data.
Sorry, no, the Node-RED UI should be available. So /UI is available. If you remove the UI, it won't be available because it's what I edit, and I don't want anything to, like, I don't want any other people to modify the flow because it's not good for multi-user. But I just logged into a private session in another browser, and I can access it. So if you put /UI, you should have access to it. Is that right or not? Yeah. Okay, this is also a stress test for infrastructure. So probably we will see if my Pi burns because all of your requests connecting at the same time, or if it all goes okay. We'll see.
I put it in the chat, the correct link, so you don't have to put any password or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
yes, Natalia MQTT server is MQTT broker, correct?
Arman, what kind of sensor are you publishing?
Potentiometer. I'm changing it myself.
What? Uno?
It's
What?
potentiometer. I'm changing it myself.
Okay.
Should I use the sensor?
No. I actually am using a random generator.
Okay.
It's because I'm modifying my code so you can actually write my LED, control my LED from the potentiometer.
I can do that. But
So as an example, I'm gonna send Edu's coolness level to Arman. So we will, just so you see how this is gonna be very easy. Actually, I will keep my screen sharing here. And you can just minimize it or close it if you want while you work. So I'm gonna put this Arman to make this one to
I mean, when you modify, it doesn't update. Right?
No, but yeah, no, because I have to deploy. There's this button up here. I have to deploy it, and then we'll modify it.
But Oscar, I was subscribing to input of Arman. It was working well.
Yeah, well, the idea is that, well, if you want to subscribe directly, that's fine. The idea is that we use input and output so that we understand the concept of the broker as well.
Okay.
Like the idea of the broker as an agent to modify that. So let's do, George, Edu is a random number, right? From 0 to 100?
From 10 to 100.
Okay, so I will put it at 55.
Now Oscar is clearly the master and we are the slaves.
We'll see. Okay, we're also receiving Santi.
Yeah, but it's too big.
Ya, Santi como siempre liándola.
Oye, ¿quién ha definido el threshold? Nobody, ¿no?
Threshold in your imagination.
Okay, we're gonna do a thing also that whenever Edu's value is over 50, we will send it to Arman, otherwise we will send it to Santi. Okay, so here or here.
I will put a moist sensor on the input, and I will play music on the output. So I will look for a 1 or for a 0, okay?
Okay.
And I will say David, input David, output David.
David, lowercase.
Lowercase.
Perfect.
I changed mine to lowercase.
Okay.
Arman, can you put it lower than 500?
Boom.
Yeah, you're blinking my LED. You see? Well, you don't blink, you are switching on. Can you lower, can you put it higher than 500? Oh, why it doesn't work now?
Also, I think something to know is that when you're using the Wi-Fi on your ESP32, you can't use certain pins as ADC. You can only use the ones on the top left.
I think this kind of network communication is mainly used for visualization, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to use this to control anything, the real-time movements.
No, MQTT, sorry, I don't know if I'm muted. Am I muted? Can you hear me? No.
Yeah.
So yes, MQTT, you can just, it's mainly for posting and sending data, but not for real time. If you want something faster for real time, you would use some other protocols. But you can like UDP or something like that. MQTT is like more meant for data aggregation and like gathering sensor data remotely and these type of things.
Mm-hmm. Or triggering, or it seems that it triggers and works like triggers, but with some delay. So it starts motor or something like that.
Oh wow, we have Benjamin coming up high. Really good.
And it's not stopping.
What is that, Benjamin? You're muted. Actually. Okay, so in principle, Edu's level is being sent to Arman and Santi, and inputs from Benjamin is being sent to Pablo and David, and depending on the value as well. But let's remove this, make it simpler.
I was answering you earlier, but I forgot to
I
mute.
have you to modify the code and test it with fake data, and then I implement my input and my output. So little by little, step by step.
Exactly. Let's actually do this. Gonna remove this. Yes.
The link you sent earlier to connect to, I think this, it was asking for some logins.
Yeah, because so the flow is secured because it's not good for multi-user edit. The dashboard is not secured, so you can see it, but not the flows.
But do I need the entire URL? Because earlier you sent just the netfab BCN up with the ports, and it asked for like a username and password.
Exactly. So it's the one that David sent, which has the /UI after that.
Okay. I think I lost the chat, but I'll find it.
Okay. What is it that you're sending, Benjamin?
I have a potentiometer, but well, no, it's a photo transistor, and then I have a potentiometer to decide how sensitive it is, so I can bring it down if needed.
No, what I did, I just changed my scale, Oscar. I changed from 10 to 1023.
Okay.
I think it's easier because most of the sensors are going to be analog and they're going to be between 0 and 1000.
It's between 4,500, 4,095 on the ESP32.
I will just be adapting them little by little. It's fine.
Óscar.
Okay, so we have Benjamin and Narman, very stable. Santi stopped publishing quite ago. Edu as well.
I just disconnected.
Okay, so it's quite responsive, I guess, right?
Actually, Arman, if you want to control my PCB, you can do it. I will put it here.
So guys, just one thing, what is happening as well here is that all of you right now are connected to a Raspberry Pi that is serving data in my home network. We will talk a little bit about how networks work for the internet on Tuesday with Guillem, but keep in mind that this is like how the internet works in a way that you don't have to like rely always on internet service providers to actually connect to other people. Like you can directly to connect to my Pi. You don't have to get a big company server. The only thing is that in my router, I have done like port forwarding on it so that you can access the Raspberry Pi, and that's it. So I don't know that there's no like big company or WhatsApp or Telegram or anything like that managing. So we could be a chat system ourselves based on a Raspberry Pi. Interesting. Is there anyone else sending data?
I am, but I think I forgot to put here. Yeah, the place where I'm connecting.
I'm receiving data, David, as yeah.
How? The pull message. I don't see the topic in the code. Where is the topic? Set up Wi-Fi. Playlet.
I'm going to do some documentation if anybody wants to wave to the camera.
And Santi again is publishing 4,000.
Wait.
Yeah.
When everybody reaches the same level, Santi comes to the next level.
Hey, I mean, I'm putting like all the bad things could happen because maybe someone is afraid to, do mistakes, things like this. I can do it myself. Don't worry.
Benjamin, before you said that the Arduino was reading from 0 to 4,000?
4095, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's 12-bit or 10-bit or something.
Ah, okay.
What is the range you're sending, David?
0 to 100.
Okay.
Random numbers. But
We don't see David.
Okay.
I saw it earlier. Output David. No, it's sending output. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know where is the topic.
You need to put just before your name. So input / your name. And the input topic.
Bueno, aquí directament passes a l'àtom.
Is send value as characters.
Tipus de missatge.
Is in the void loop.
En el meu exemple.
Void loop?
O en el teu.
Callback loop, yeah. Clean loop. Email.
So if you are in the clean is connected, you publish each millisecond, 1,000 milliseconds, you are reading whatever value, and you have serial print, blah, blah, blah. In that case, I have, for example, input / edu, serial print the message, and the set the topic to publish is clean publish input / edu, comma, message. That is actually the data sensor.
So in this case, here is it.
By the way, if someone doesn't want to do this with Python or Arduino, in my screen I'm showing you a Grasshopper MQTT component that I haven't tried because I have no idea about this, but it probably would be very cool if someone can try to implement some Firefly interaction with this and the MQTT. So challenge accepted. I think Edu is gonna do it.
I'm gonna make an animation. I'm gonna share my screen.
With Firefly, we can do the physics simulation, right? So maybe with the light sensors and temperature and moisture, we can sort of like build an environmental map of and visualize it eventually through this like online platform maybe. But I'm not sure about like, because these kind of visualizations are presets. How do you actually design your own visualization?
I don't know what you are publishing with Mosquito. It's not Red, no? Óscar, the visualization engine?
Well, yeah, well, it's using Angular, I think. This and the Node-RED is the server that is managing the dashboard thing. Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
No,
yeah.
No, I'm sending.
Switch you there for a second.
Guys, do you receive my data? You don't receive it.
Let's see.
Maybe lowercase.
Someone is sending the bit.
No, input okay.
Let me just put this and put this in here. So for inputs, I am receiving, let me delete this, Arman, Benjamin, Edu, and that's it. So the idea is that the format, I don't know if you see my screen, but the format has to be something like this. So input slash and the name. And then you will receive data on output slash and the name. If you're sending just the data as David with no topic in, then I won't be able to, I can pass it in, but the idea is that you put it as an input, okay?
It should be done right now.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. Let's see now. Yeah, there you go. So here you are, 25, 26, here, there you go. Santui, Edu, Armand, Benjamin.
Now I implement the moist.
Right. So you will be receiving data from Benjamin.
Yeah.
And maybe you two can agree on. Well, it's already sending data to you in a output slash David, and then you just have to pass it in and see how you want to map it and everything.
Do you have to do the linking yourself? Like, I couldn't do just, for example, output Arman and automatically receive it. You have to set up the linking.
I mean, you can do it however you want. If you want to just receive data from whomever else. The idea was a little bit that, but you can really experiment. I'm linking here to just for us to play, but as long as if you can hack the whole thing and just receive data from everyone and do an animation, I don't care. The whole point is that you get the point of.
But you don't need to do linking, for example, like.
No.
If I just
here,
do...
the only thing here that I am doing is, for example, sending data to one another, and that you only listen to your own topic, but you could be listening to everything.
How do you listen to a specific topic?
So if if you go to the code, you reconnect, callback, message received, MQTT server.
Because I see here callback. Well, what is called? Publish.
Publish. So you have to client.subscribe. Let me see what this is. Probably I didn't. Yeah, here. So in void reconnect, in that function, you have a client.subscribe, and there you put the topic you're listening to.
Okay.
In this case, it says testing, but you can put whatever else you want.
Output / David in my case.
And just so you know, MQTT is quite robust for this, because it maps whether or not the data has been received by the platform. So whenever you send something, it gives you an okay back and tells you, okay, I received the data. And if you are implementing something that is less of a toy example of what we are doing today, but more in like an actual application, you can check if the data was actually received by the platform and retry based on that answer. And a normal technique that you do is that when you, for example, turn on a system or something that is going to send data, what you do is you send a hello to the platform to check connectivity. And if you receive the hello okay, then you will start sending sensor data after that. Otherwise, you don't start because the sensor data is going to get lost. Does that make sense?
Sorry, the code we should be trying, it's the one that says code example in the link you sent?
Yeah, either that or the one in the GitLab.
Where do you put your names or your username, or how does it detect that it's Arman? I'm supposedly connecting and sending messages, but I don't know to whom.
So if you go to the code, you will see at the very first part your Wi-Fi settings and the server and everything. This is what I sent you, except your Wi-Fi, of course. And then you have to go to where it says set the topic to publish here. And it says client.publish. And this is the topic that you will use to publish data in. So you have to replace out topic with input / your name. And the message that you will send is what you're reading. So you have to code that and the sensor data that you're going to send. And to listen to something in void reconnect, there's a client.subscribe. Remember this schematic here. So publisher or subscriber, and you have both of them in the same device. And in here, you specify the topic to which you subscribe. You can subscribe to something that I map to you, or something that something random that, for example, you want to go for everyone's data or just Santi's data or whatever. It's totally up to you.
Wait. I'm gonna first change my name so I don't get lost, and I'll ask you.
Okay. So,
guys, I can't find the library for the ESP32. I don't find it.
Which library? The PubSub client or the Wi-Fi?
The Wi-Fi one, but I'm trying with the ESP8266 Wi-Fi and I can't find it. And then I have the ESP32 thing, but I also can't find it. I don't know if it has another name or what.
You need to install it. I have sent on a little bit up in the chat all the libraries, and with that it works. You need to add those libraries.
I already installed the first one, but the PubSub client I already installed, but the other one I can't find. Is it in the chat, you say?
It's in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All the libraries. But you need to add these links in the preference of Arduino so you can actually find them in the library search engine.
Okay.
Sorry, Edu. If we did when we did the unpacking intelligent machines, you weren't there. But
sorry.
I mean, when we did the unpacking intelligent machines, some of us used the Node MCU and it worked. So I suppose we have those libraries, no?
In theory, yes. Yeah, you have done MCU before, you are supposed to have the libraries, but not really. If you haven't connected to Wi-Fi with another MCU, no, it's not mandatory to have them.
No, but because my Arduino does not read it. Like it blinks, but it doesn't read the port. It doesn't show that it's connected.
Do you put correctly your Wi-Fi address, like the SSID and the password?
Well,
Is the top lines of the code just at the header? You have SSID that has to be your Wi-Fi name, and you have the password of your Wi-Fi. If you don't put that correctly, maybe a capital letter or underscore, you are not gonna be able to connect properly. And Oscar?
yeah, but what I'm saying is when I plug my node, my ESP, it should in the port, it should say that it's connected, no?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Change the USB cable. Probably it's just the USB cable.
I don't have.
Like, really happens a lot.
If you want to do still this and don't worry much about the Arduino, just either use Python or if you are familiar with Grasshopper, probably try the Grasshopper MQTT.
Actually, Oscar, can I share my screen because I have a doubt?
I actually have questions about the Python, to be honest.
Sorry?
I have questions about the Python thing, but yeah,
Okay.
Edu can go.
It's up to you to decide. I'm not the master here.
Can I think I can go first because it's going to be a super fast question, actually. And you can go on the Python. Oscar, just install it, and how to actually put the address is like this. So we have the netfat.org, FATLab, this is the password, the host, I suppose, is the student, and the port and topic, I suppose this is topic, but I'm missing the port. I don't know what is the port.
No, you're doing it the opposite. So netfabbcn.hop2.org is the host, and students is the username.
What?
Students is username.
Wait, I will copy up here. So students is the username.
Yeah.
Students. The password is that one?
Yeah, and then netfabbcn.hop2.org is the host.
Okay.
And then the port is 9393. No, 1883. Sorry.
1883.
Yeah, and then that is the topic. So whether you're publishing or reading. So if you put that as Arman, input Arman is gonna be Arman's data that is gonna come in.
No, it's not working. So if you did this students password.
PC. Wait, is it wait a second. Go, yeah, it's 1883. Yeah. Slash input. So this is, what is this doing? You are reading data or publishing data?
In theory, theoretically, it's read. We cannot publish, we can only read with this.
Okay.
Can I ask something?
Okay.
Yep.
My code shows it's not recognizing the ESP client. It says Wi-Fi client doesn't name a type. Did you mean DNS client? I don't know.
Which board are you using? Which chip is it?
It's like Arduino, basically the Lego one.
Oh no, but that you cannot use ESP with that. I mean, this is so that Arduino doesn't have Wi-Fi connectivity. So the idea then would be that you send that data to your computer, and that data you then send it to us using a Python or a Grasshopper, or well, it would be Python only in this case.
Okay.
So the idea is that for those that have an ESP32, then you can use this approach with Arduino. If not, you have to split it. So you have to read the data in Arduino, send it via serial. The computer reads it, and then the computer sends it to us. But if not, it's like imagine a smart citizen that is sending data remotely and it has an antenna. But if if the smart citizen didn't have the antenna, it couldn't send data remotely. So there would be someone else that handles that and then sends it to us. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So in the example here, for in the Python case, you would be reading the serial data. You see my screen? No. In the Python example here, you need to import MQTT and serial. You connect to the broker remotely. In this case, you don't have to put, sorry, no, you should see it. So MQTT and serial. So in this case, you don't need to put the Wi-Fi because your computer already has access to the Wi-Fi because you are using it already. So you just need to put the broker user and password, and then your serial port and the speed at which you're gonna read it. Then what you do is start the serial port, start the client, and set up some callbacks and connect to it. And you basically ignore this for a second. So you forever you read the sensor data and publish it. But whenever there is a message, there is what we call a callback. That is a function that executes every time that an event happens. So what we do is that we set a callback whenever we receive a message, sorry, on message, and that message is this one. So that function is this one, and you receive it, and then you can do something else. For example, I don't know, either print something or do some other actions locally in your computer, play music, even whatever you like. But in this case, is your computer the client and subscriber, and your Arduino is the board, so is the sensors, but the one that is reading the sensors, but doing that only is like just a slave of your computer that doesn't have any other task, just done reading the sensor and sending it through the cable. And maybe Daphne, now if you have questions about the Python, this is the right moment. Sorry for.
Yeah, thank you. So for the Arduino, in order to do that with Python, we need to have the same code that there is for the ASP, or not? Do we need another code?
You can take the code that you have for the ESP and just remove the parts that are for the connectivity.
Yeah.
Or just put a code that makes a simple serial print of the sensor data. Something like what we saw yesterday in the documentation. Let me show an example.
Yeah, I just want to understand how it connects the code.
Okay, so let me draw this very quickly. You know, I love drawings. what we are doing is we have the Arduino. So this is the Arduino, and this is sending data via USB.
Ah, I
Here-
cannot see the drawing.
We can see your drawing.
Yeah, yes. I don't know why it automatically stops or
Okay,
something.
now.
Okay. So this is your laptop. So this is USB. This is Arduino. So in the Arduino, what you do is set up whatever, and you do read sensor. Actually, let's do it like this. Void setup, void loop, and here you do read sensor, and then serial println sensor data. Okay, so float sensor data equal read. Okay, and this is a function that you define or something simple. Okay, so that's the code in your Arduino that simply prints something. Printing something in serial means that you are sending it to the serial port, and the serial port in this case is the USB. Okay, then in the computer, you first have to read that data, and for that you do with Python, you do import serial, and then you say serial port equal whoever, and then serial port dot read value equal serial port dot read. Okay, that is the part, that is the code, the part that will read the data that is coming from the Arduino. And then what you do with that data is you send it over internet with MQTT. So you do import MQTT, and you at the end say mqtt.send value. Okay, and of course this is like just the overall thing, or mqtt.send. No, it's not send. Is mqtt.publish value, and if you want as well, you do mqtt.subscribe to a topic, and then do something with the value or the data you receive. Okay, so in this case, for those that don't have the possibility to use someone that has connectivity, like an Arduino that has connectivity, you have to use this setup. The whole thing is going to be able to publish data. And this is already something like somehow important for to understand, that we are managing here two protocols. We have serial communication. Probably we have something else here for our sensor. This might be I2C or a simple analog read, who knows, but this would be another protocol. So this is one protocol, USB, and then sending data over to the internet. If we have an Arduino with Wi-Fi connectivity, like a ESP32, then we have the Arduino with the same part, the reading sensor and the MQTT connectivity, and the network is established in here. That is sending the data over Wi-Fi to me, basically. Okay. Does it make sense or not? So if we go back to the code, in Python, basically, if you just replace these placeholders, it will work. So I tested this yesterday, and the only thing you need to do, apart from installing the library, is replace this input and put your name, and read the sensor data from your serial port. Or if you don't want to read sensor data because your cable doesn't work or your Arduino doesn't work, you can just take this data from whatever other thing. It can be a random number. It can be something that you are sending via MIDI. It can be something that you send from your mouse position, whatever you prefer. The temperature of the CPU, you could also send me if you want.
Okay, so how do we actually run the code? That's what I'm asking. Like,
The
how
Python
do we
code.
actually send the data?
The Python code, you mean?
Yeah.
So if you have Python installed, it should be as simple as, you still see my drawing?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be as simple as doing in your terminal Python and example.py. You write that in the terminal and that's it.
Ah. Okay.
So you edit this in a text editor, you execute that in the terminal, and you run the code. And if you have any error, it would appear in the output.
I took a screenshot.
Oscar, for the Python example, if you don't have like a serial port, what's the value gonna be?
You don't have a USB port?
Yeah, but it's gonna be empty, right?
But you have an Arduino, right?
No.
Okay, so then if you don't, so if you mean if you don't have an Arduino, you can remove the serial part and just try to get the data from somewhere else. And if you don't have it, you can just make a random number generator and use that. There's a library in Python, very simple, that will do, I think it's random Python. So you say, share screen again, sorry. So generate random integers, for example, and you go here, you say from random import that, and then the value is just this. And you can just send me that if you want. If you want to go deeper or something more interesting, I don't know, you can make a processing script that reads something else, or whichever you prefer. Takes pictures of you, calculates the number of white pixels that is on your camera, and then send me that number, whatever you prefer.
So basically just read something.
Yeah, basically. So the idea is, I mean, the whole point of this is that it has to be, for FA Academy, there needs to be an embedded component. So it cannot be that in FA Academy, for the FA Academy students, I'm saying, that you send something that is just from your computer. There has to be an embedded part. Either the communication is from chip to chip or from ESP32 or 8266 to a computer or a server or something like that, but there has to be a microcontroller in the
but it's just for now because I don't have any external chips. Yeah.
No, exactly. So that's the only thing I'm saying, that but for the session is fine. Even if you want, you can make a Python script that gets the amount of coronavirus cases and send it to me. I will be editing. Oh, so you, Arman, are sending data from Python as well?
Yes.
Okay, so let's put that.
But that's just random for now.
Oh, okay. Are you guys doing something with the data that other people are sending? Now now you have like at least you got David, Benjamin, Arman, Santi, Edu. You are sending me data of those. Are you using that data to do something or others person data? I think I mapped Edu's to Arman and to Santi, Benjamin to David. I could put Benjamin. I mean, if you want, you can just subscribe to whomever you want. The whole point is that you.
My LED blinks depends. Well, if Arman controls my LED, for example.
Nice.
Being controlled. Right now, I'm trying to set up my output so I play music if Benjamin sets the potentiometer over 3000, but I still have to copy and adapt my code to this. So.
It would be nice if any of you could make a little synthesizer or something of everyone. Like we receive the data from everyone and then that modulates the music.
Yeah, that could be nice.
I think Antoine had done something similar with OF framework, open framework. So maybe you can recycle this code. Is there a way to, I guess, yeah, if you listen to, is there a way to get the data out of Arduino IDE into something else? Or if we open Python file, we need to kind of restart the connection with MQTT to kind of get it out of the IDE?
But you mean from the serial port? So the serial monitor data, or you're muted? Sorry, you're muted.
What?
Yeah, I'm at the moment. So I'm sending data out through the ESP32 and receiving it, but in the Arduino IDE. Or at least it's showing it in the thing. Actually, yeah,
in the serial monitor.
Serial monitor, yeah.
So that's the same way you're reading it from the serial monitor. You can do the same in Python. So import serial and read that same data and do something with it.
Yeah, cool.
So is Antoine around? Antoine, I think you are the best candidate to make a synthesizer with everyone's data based on your assignment for interface. Antoine,
His camera's not here. He's disappeared.
He disappeared, yeah.
Hey.
Let's just give him the. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you working on it? I count on you, man.
I am on it, yeah, but I'm struggling with it. But
okay.
Yeah.
No pressure, no pressure. You are our only chance.
No, there is pressure. There is pressure.
Okay. So Benjamin, you are receiving, well, you know that you can receive anyone's data, but you are receiving David's inputs right now, if you want to. So Arman through.
I only subscribed to Arman. I haven't been kind of like doing anything.
Okay.
Óscar, so I wanted to check again the data with you because I was seeing in the documentation. To which topic should I connect? Sorry.
So you should subscribe to, sorry, you should publish to input / Pablo. That's the data that you are publishing to, and you can subscribe to whoever.
So
but
set the topic to publish here. Client publish quotes input / Pablo quotes comma message parentheses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
Should I change something else because it seems that I'm connected and I have a sensor connected, but
perfect. So
I don't know if you're receiving any data.
Yeah. I just saw it.
For me.
I just saw it. Wait a second. I'm gonna put you.
Okay.
I just see it in here. You can review it in the dashboard. You appeared already here in pink, and I'm gonna make a little knob so that but we're receiving data. And who said the same for me? Who else is sending data?
Yeah.
Okay, and you are sending it with
Pero,
input/Andrea or just
sí,
Andrea?
input/Andrea.
Okay. Okay, I don't see you. Let me see one thing. I'm not receiving anything. Pablo,
See, guys, some of us are not just didn't find the library. I already did the link thing and I searched for it and it's not there. And some of us are having the same problem.
Do you know,
using...
maybe first question, Oscar, do you know which board is the one they received? It comes with an ESP32 room chip, but I'm not sure if it's an 8266. It doesn't seem to, but.
I mean, if it's the ESP32, then ESP32 it is.
Juanita, maybe
can you show it?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you share your screen, Juanita, just to make sure everything good.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Andrea, you can share your screen. No, I just saw your data coming in, Andrea. So it's there.
Vale.
Yep. Let me just change this. Okay, you can share your screen, Juanita, whenever you want.
Does it say like this, or does it usually download this stuff?
Okay. So just no, you just have to put Wi-Fi.
No, because I think she doesn't have the board at all installed, so which means she doesn't have the Wi-Fi library. Maybe ESP32. I don't know if it's case sensitive, but ESP is lowercase on my Arduino. I don't know if
what if you put 32 only, Juanita? So scroll down. No.
Go back to your preferences. Okay. Maybe you missed. There's like one line which is for the just for the 32. Maybe there's one missing. I think it's the last one in the indoor buildings.
Could you close this and go back to Arduino preferences, and then give it a second. Oh. Okay, can you click, you see in that line on the right hand side, there's a little icon with two windows. Can you click on it? There. Okay, so yes, you see each of the lines have to be separated with carriage return. So there has to be separate lines for each of the sources. This is the problem. So every time you see HTTP, press enter.
Or just go back to the page I sent you and then copy and paste, it'd be faster.
Probably, yeah.
My screen has all those lines separated, and I'm still getting the same error message as well as her.
Okay.
Let's see if it works after she does this.
What's the error message?
It's the same one Juanita's getting.
Okay, let's go one by one. There's that one, yeah, Matter Tech. There's another one in there. There you go. Okay. There we go. Okay, can you double check the first one just in case? Okay, good. So press OK. Okay. And then go back to boards, tools, boards. Maybe just 32 again, just in case, because probably it's, I don't know if it's case sensitive or something else.
I don't think it is because earlier she put ESP in the 8266 shader, although the ESP was very close. But I don't know if it's a big thing, but she didn't delete the blank space at the end of each line.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it either. Maybe you can just put ESP. ESP. ESP8266. Okay, no. Okay, so maybe close this 1 second. Let me. Okay, so can you remove ESP8266 in the first line and just put Wi-Fi.h? Yeah, there exactly.
After that class, you will have to change the password of your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So Wi-Fi.h only.
Oh no! That's gonna be a problem in the whole floor.
Well, I can. If you want, I cannot upload the video. The session, or I can try to put something or cut this part. Don't worry.
Yes, much better.
Okay, so then try to compile again. Okay, so now there's another, those are other problems, built-in LED.
Yeah, you should change it for any pin. I have the.
Or just define the built-in LED so you don't have to change it everywhere.
So you can do hashtag before void setup. You do hashtag define space built-in LED space and the name of the pin. And also review Benjamin's comment on the chat. Okay, so we have Pablo, Hala, Andrea. Oh my God, there's a lot of people now sending data. Let me update this.
Some advice in terms of how the delay works, because in my output, the music has a delay. So I saw that in the example, we have something like not a delay, but if there is a point that every second comes on in. So how do I handle the delay or the delay thing? Because I put the digital input or the digital sound in some frequency, and I have to wait to do something. So how do I wait for this and wait for connecting to receive or send messages?
Okay, so well, there are two things that you have to take into account in there, and this is a little bit advanced for not. It's not advanced. It's more like it's going to take a little time to understand it more than just this session. But there are two things in there. So the first one is you can consider what we call interrupts. Interrupts are functions or events in the microcontroller sequence that will trigger whenever an event happens. And then you can attach a function to that interrupt, basically saying I'm doing my job constantly, and then I have an interrupt from someone, and I pay attention for a second, and then I come back. It's the same for a microcontroller, and you can define what the interrupt conditions and priorities are, and what the functions that you can do are after that. And that is a little bit more complicated to just implement in there, but what we can think about is better something like a callback or similar thing, in which when you receive a message, you then execute a function that, even if it's gonna take a little time to execute, then you just ensure that the function is completed and you forget about anything else, any other callback. For example, sending data or this type of thing. And this is probably a little bit like the thing of when you program these paradigms, is when you have to consider when multiple things are happening. And this is the perfect example for that, also leading us to the machine design and this type of thing. So for now, what I would do is try to make the least amount of delays possible, so that your like the music plays fine. And then in the future, what we will do is try to do these interrupt functions that somehow make your code execution a little bit more smart without having to account for delays when something is received. Does it make sense, or did I confuse you?
Yeah, I will try to use the callback somehow and make the delays as little as possible. So if something happens and there is a little stop in the music, you don't see it.
Okay.
Can I ask now, or is someone else?
Sorry?
Yeah.
You can ask, of course.
Okay. Well, okay, I'm gonna share. Can you see? It's basically showing error to like everything.
But you're executing this in a shell?
I tried the terminal as well, and it's the same.
Okay, no, but try make a file. So make a text file and paste the code in it, and then go to the directory in which you save the file and do Python and the name of the file. So in a folder of your computer, just put just make a file that you call mqtt.py or something like that. Or
I have a keep notes. It's fine, no?
No, but no, that is another program. So that is where you keep your notes, but we're talking about like actual code. So it has to be a file that your computer can find in a text format that doesn't have weird formatting and these things.
Okay, like text edit?
Yeah, you don't have Atom or anything like that that would you use for editing your website?
Yeah, I do.
The Atom is perfect. Okay. So then you have that. Okay. You can save it as example.py and put it in a, or whatever name you want to put it.
Okay.
Okay, and where did you save it? In downloads. Okay, so now you go with your terminal to downloads. Control C. No, you have to Control C, Control D. But what is this? If this is a terminal, or is this?
Yes.
But you're not in Python at the moment. Okay, so
I'll
go
just
to download.
Okay.
Okay, now so downloads. Okay, so CD users Natalia downloads. You are currently in your home folder, I think. You're not in downloads.
No, it's downloads.
No, press type ls.
Oh,
so you're
right.
not in loads.
Okay.
Okay, now Python example.py. There you go. So, okay, did you come to, so did you install Python 3 at any point?
Yeah.
Okay, and how did you install it? So can you, if you go back to the terminal, can you do Python 3 and then example.py? Okay. Expected. Okay, so line. Okay, yes. So if you go back to the code, comment out line 40. Put a hashtag before that.
Guys, the name of the ESP, it has a different name than the ESP32 in the boards to connect. When I go,
Well, I don't know your board
which
exactly,
board should I connect?
because your board is, which board is it? Is it Node MCU or is it something different?
No, it's the ESP room 32. But I'm trying to connect like the board and it doesn't appear. So it
Okay.
just says ESP Duino, like it's not the name is not there. I don't know if it has another name.
Let's do this. I don't know, Edu, you are here, or Giuseppe or someone else? Maybe.
Sorry, I just got stuck in the elevator. Tell me I'm back.
Okay, so maybe you can help Anita. I don't know if in a separate chat or something, and I help Natalia.
Okay.
Okay, syntax error expected. The file is not saved, Natalia. You have to save it and then execute it again. Okay, so now you have to install Paho. So in your case, it will.
Okay.
No. Yes, Caroline, you will be next if you want. So you have to do pip3. Let me see. pip3 install Paho dash MQTT with one O.
Double O
No, just one.
dash 60. Like that?
No. Dash MQTT. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
What is the chat here? Chat, where are you? Where did the chat go? Oh my God. Can someone say in the chat to see if it pops up? Ah, here, okay. I'm stupid. Everyone. Here. There you go. Oh, wow, we have a lot of data coming in. We have Andrea, Hala, Pythonio. I don't know who Pythonio is. David, Payarman, Benjamin. Amazing.
Hacker.
Yeah, I am Python.
Okay, no, you have to put pip3. Sorry, because you're using Python 3. pip3 install Paho MQTT.
Okay.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and now run the Python code again. So go back to the terminal and Python example.py. Python 3, correct, yeah, sorry. Okay, so it's published and that's it. Let's see if we received anything. We received info, I'm not sure. Maybe what we can do now is, because you see, if you analyze the code in line 34, what we did is we just sent a hello. There was client.publish, whatever input, nati, hello from Python. And then we start the loop.
Yeah.
But that stayed there. Sorry, the MQTT function will just start the loop, and if you don't do anything afterwards, then it will stop. So that's what happened. You see that the execution in your terminal is stopped.
Okay.
So there are two options. Either now you read the data from the serial, or you do it with a random number. But we have to put something after the loop starts. So that's why in line 40, there's a while true. But if we don't put anything there, then it will just stay there and close. So what you can do if you want to try now, and then I let you alone, is copy line 34 and put it in line 42. And now you have to indent that line 42, because Python works with indentation. Okay, now uncomment line 40. And then execute this again. So save it first and then execute it. So Python 3, exactly. Okay. So you're publishing all this data, and now in my screen I see hello from Python all the time, which is you. And yeah, where we don't have you in the values because you're sending just hello. The idea is that you send a sensor, but I'm receiving it, so it means that it's working well. The idea is now that you read the sensor data from your Arduino. And that also, since your computer is very fast, it's going to be sending this data as fast as possible. So you should put a delay. And for that, go to line 43 and put time.sleep and between parentheses 5. Sleep. Between parentheses 5. This is 5 seconds. And time and client, they have to be exactly at the same level of indentation. So you have one extra space in there, I think. Yeah. Control C.
I'm gonna stop it.
No. Don't close it like that. Control C. In the terminal. Control C. Many times. Control C, Control C, Control C.
Command maybe?
No, it's Control C or Control D, one of the two. No? Okay, well then close it. Okay. And now in line 43, there's one extra space. So you have to remove the first space. Yeah. And now what you have to do is in the payload part, it says hello from Python. You have to send me the sensor reading. So you can try to send a random number if you want at the beginning, or just a constant number. For example, send 5. It has to be a string. No, but not in the line. Not that one. That is the first one. We are doing it constantly, so it's in line 42. So you see the point. Like while true is like an endless loop, so it's executing forever. So just put a 5 in there, for example. And now execute it. And now we will see a value of 5 in the dashboard.
So how do I, oh, how was it?
And now you have to read the data and put it into that. So Antoine, I'm receiving your data. I don't know what you're sending. And now if you go to the dashboard, you will see that we are receiving also your data, Nati, and it's a 5. Okay.
Okay.
I will put it also in the.
How do I put the data from the sensor?
Then you have to use serial. For that, there's an example on the site.
Okay.
Close the topic. Well, you can leave the Python code running or close it if you want while you're testing. The data is being received.
Okay, thanks.
So if you want to send, for example, data from your Arduino that are maybe from a potentiometer or I don't know, a joystick or whatever, how does the float sensor data function works exactly? Because, yeah, I don't get it.
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
If, like, it's an analog read, I'm just trying
so you're reading the sensor data from analog read, and that, for example, what you're reading is millivolts. You have to convert that into a value that is understandable for us, because we don't know what millivolts are in the sense of light or things. And for that, there will be a conversion function, which is a mathematical function that at the moment, if you want, we can avoid. But that is already a number. And that number, you can just print it to a serial port with serial print. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, tell me what the problem is. So, what doesn't click yet?
I don't know. I'm just trying to understand the sensor data, sensor reading, like the connection between the Arduino and Python. Like.
Okay, so Arduino is reading the sensor data and making something with it, but it's just reading a number. And the Arduino itself, if it doesn't have Wi-Fi, has to do something with that number. And what we are doing is sending it with a cable in the USB.
Yeah, no.
What Python is doing? Okay, sorry. Tell me.
Sorry, I just want to understand the code. Like you said, the float sensor data, read sensor, but yeah, that doesn't work.
How about you share your screen, and then Caroline probably will go with you, but you share your screen and tell me what doesn't make sense. If that's fine.
Caroline can go first because she wanted to.
I think we fixed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I will figure it out. Give me.
It's totally up to you. I mean, the session is for this type of questions. It's not stupid or anything. Don't feel like that. I'm gonna put Natalia and Antoine.
What is the, I just got a new error. It's setup Wi-Fi was not declared. What is that one again?
Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely not posting the course.
Okay, because you didn't define the function setup Wi-Fi in your code. It has to be as in the example. At the very end of the example, there should be a function that says void setup Wi-Fi. If you want, what you can do if it doesn't get it, just put it at the beginning. So copy that and put it up there before setup.
This whole piece?
Yep.
I don't know if maybe in the beginning it seems that she has loaded the Wi-Fi library 2 times, but I don't know if that might be the problem.
I don't think so, but you should, you can delete it. Yeah, the Wi-Fi. So in line, yeah, the first line include Wi-Fi. You can delete it, and you don't need. I don't think that you need a UDP either. But it's fine. I mean, it's not gonna hurt them. Okay, and then callback, the same thing. I believe that if it's not defined previously, I think that there has to be with some versions of Arduino when it compiles. So you have to take callback and put it before setup. There should be a function below that says callback.
Where?
Oh no, but you have 2 setups as well. Where did you take this example from? Is it from the website?
It's mine, but I might have pasted it twice.
Yeah, because there are 3 loops. There are 30 setups.
Okay.
I think you have to do a little bit of cleanup, and then it will work.
Nati, in the indentation, it's the tabulation you have in your code, that it doesn't come in the same line, so that some things are more tapped to the right.
All right.
You have to use tabs and not spaces just to make sure.
Edu and Arman and I don't know whom else, you could reduce the frequency at which you send data. You're sending data probably every 200 milliseconds or something. It's fine, but if you reduce it, it will put less load on the network. Because we don't need such a high frequency of your potentiometers.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
For me now it says that the serial is not defined, name error.
And then import serial on the top.
In Atom, okay. module error.
Then the pip3 install serial. In the terminal this time. Or it's not, it's pip3 install by serial, sorry. I put it in the chat. There you go.
Most of you are reading potentiometers, no?
It would be very cool to make a synthesizer. I just say that.
I have a noise sensor, so it's any potentiometer.
No, let's do like we are reading analogs, guides, or like distance or potentiometers. It could be nice to make a race. Like for example, I'm putting random numbers. I start first, you give me 3 seconds, and you need to try to match my curve with your sensor readings to see which one gets the closer one.
Okay, but don't go down to 10,000 because like 5 minutes ago you were going like really, really, really down. Like set some parameters, you know?
Okay, the parameters are from 0 to 4,000.
Find some rules, man. Wait a second, I'm updating the dashboard 1 second. Wait, quick.
I'm connecting an LED, so maybe you can, I was taking like Arman's data, like the red line, just to turn on another LED. I don't know if you, like, can you put that data as my output?
Of course. So the Arman's data as your output, sorry? Or
But I'm updating each 5 seconds.
The red line, Arman's data.
It's pi Arman, it's the random one, I guess.
Okay. So let's put.
Edu, you're gone. I was following you.
I'm doing it, Andrea. So since the pi is suffering a little bit. Andrea, done. And then we're connecting pi Arman to output Andrea. There you go. Boom. From the plug. I just changed the, sorry, I just changed
can I ask something?
The dashboard. Yeah, of course.
Oscar, I get an error for the MQTT pass. It says stray 342 in program.
Okay, maybe you can share your screen. It's gonna be easier to debug.
No. I don't have good connection.
Oh, maybe, so you are using Arduino or Python?
I'm using Arduino.
Okay,
ESP.
and did you put, can you double check the user that is a student and the password that is FabLab is 9?
Yes.
Is it correct?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. So let me double check. So you're getting the error stray 302. From QTT?
Yes. Oops.
I saw it in QTT. Okay. Okay, I'm checking the. Oh, can you double check? It's just maybe something stupid, but the double quotes that you have containing all the strings. I don't know if they're fine or not. Maybe you can try to change them to single quotes or to the double quotes, but that's typing them, because probably if you copied it from the website, there's a weird character in there. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, the FabLab is nice. Has the quotes are like skewed rather than it should be. Usually they're pretty much straight.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, look at that. Now we have I can share the screen. I changed the dashboard, sorry. There was a little bit of a downtime in our server. But now we are fitting up better everyone. So let's change the layout a little bit. Boom.
I think mine now says sensor reading, right? But it's not like
Let's see.
showing any values or something. It seems like it's connected now.
I mean, let's see. 15.
Oops.
Done. Okay. Oh, you're sending a string, I think. Sensor reading. So you have to. You probably have something like quote input / nati / sensor reading close quote.
Yeah, in payload I have sensor reading. Okay.
Exactly. So you're sending add that as a string, and you have to put quote input / nati / close the quote, and then plus str parenthesis sensor reading. I put that in the chat as well.
Okay.
Sorry, what? Exactly.
I'm coming. More chat. What is the chat? Here. So it should be like input nati / duck / string and wait. Like that.
All right. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Let's see if we start receiving it. Oh, Antoine just came back to life.
Okay, I need help.
Does it work, Natalia?
Not really. No, now it's saying syntax error, invalid character in identifier.
Mm. You can share with us your screen.
Yes. I think you will need to stop sharing first.
Oh, sorry. What happened with the inputs? Okay. Oh no, but this is the same problem. You see that the quotes are a little bit like side quotes. You have to put them in input nati. The quotes are funky. Just delete and go to the no, go to the right. Okay, do as mine. There you go. There you go. And I'm receiving. Oh, okay. Go back to the code. Sorry. Input nati. Oh no. Okay. Just put remove input nati from there actually, and just leave the string. There exactly. Now that's it. There we go. That was working.
Yay! Cute. Yeah. Okay.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Okay, I need help.
Go ahead.
Wait, I should share my screen. No. You see it? Okay, so I have the code. Let's say I want to read the joystick because that's the only input I have at this moment. So yeah, I put the float value.
So you are reading the value, okay?
Yeah, but only from the, that's what I don't understand. Now I'm reading only the A0, like the X axis.
So you want to send us 3 values, let's say.
Okay, I can send only this one, I guess. It's okay. So what is this code okay?
No.
You can just put a serial print value.
Yeah, because I have
Serial print ln, sorry.
Sorry. And
between parentheses value. So we declare the variable value and now we are just printing it. And then you can just comment or remove all the other serial prints that you have.
yeah, exactly. Do I remove? But this I need, no?
No, because when you do print, you don't send let's say like a new line, but when you do print ln is like print with new line.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's putting that character already.
So this I don't.
You don't need that, no.
So
The delay, leave it because it will be
yeah.
easier for you to read data a little bit slower.
On the Python code,
Okay.
I have input serial. Then I don't know if the serial port serial port is correct.
Okay, well, the serial port depends on your computer. Since you have a Mac, is that the one? Sorry, can you repeat?
I mean the syntax because if that's my port. I checked
Okay,
from
okay. Perfect.
so it should work.
Okay. So now, what are we doing here? Can you make this screen, the window, a little bit bigger so that we can see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so you read it the first time, then you connect to the MQTT client, you define your callbacks, user, or etc. The port, okay, you connect. So you send a hello first, and then you start the loop. Be careful, in line 42, there's a space that shouldn't be there at the beginning.
42, what do you mean?
Yeah, the space.
Here,
Yeah.
Sorry.
You remove it, exactly. And then we start the loop, and then when we go into line 44, it's like running, and then you read the sensor. Now the problem is that the read sensor.
Sorry, my internet got stuck.
The what?
My internet got stuck when in the client loop start.
Okay, because what you're doing is publishing well every 5 seconds, so it should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that you are sending well the sensor reading as a string. It should be fine. And yes, you are subscribing to something. Yeah, you give it a try. Let's see.
Yeah.
Save it and go to the terminal, and wherever you have it saved, then Python or
I have
Py3.
to compile it to the Arduino first.
If you want to, when you have some time, we can show you, Benjamin and I made this speaker sounds with random music when the Benjamin potentiometer goes on. So
Go for it. Go for it while she tries.
So the potentiometer, so we can somehow record this.
Okay, so I did this from before, so I guess I have to. My file is on desktop, so.
Nice.
That is cool.
That is super nice.
So now,
So
sorry, I do Python example or Python.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Sorry.
Python example, yeah. That's super cool, David. That's super nice. You will tell us in a second when we finish with Daphne how do you did it.
Yeah.
Example.py. Okay, serial port read. Okay, no, you have to do. Okay, so go back to your Python code. And review. So if you go to the documentation, you see that what we are reading is the serial. You have to declare the serial object first. So you go up. You say serial port is that value, and then you are reading serial port, but that is not that's a string. It's not the object serial. So you have to declare the object serial first and then read it. So if you go to the documentation and check the example that is in there.
That's, wait. Sorry. You mean the example that, the remote example? This is what I actually copied.
Okay, well, go to the link that I put in the docs, in the chat, sorry.
Now. Oh, I cannot see the chat with my shared screen. Wait. Where is this?
Oh, I didn't paste. Yeah, if you check in the chat, I put So if you go there, you'll see in the code that it says serial stuff, port, whatever, baud rate, whatever, and then there's a line that says ser equals serial dot serial port baud rate. That is the object that we can read. So you do ser dot read line, and that reads the serial port. But if not, you won't be reading the serial. You know what I mean?
No. No,
so, are you seeing the? So let me share my screen again. So here, do you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is the port, and the port name is defined by a string. Okay. We cannot read a string. This is just a variable that just contains text. But we have to create an object that has the functionality to read the serial port, and that object is this one. We define it here. We call an object of the class serial with the port that we define in here and the baud rate that we want, and this is what we can read. So if you see on the function read sensor, we do serial read line, and also ser.readline is the function that is reading the serial port. So you have to first define this object and then use that object to read the data that is coming from the USB, and that should work. Okay. So if you take this code from here and put it into your example and modify the little chunks that need some changes, then it should work fine.
Yeah, but what changes would it need, like other than my port?
Your port, and if you want to publish data, then the data that you want to the MQTT server, and so this part in here. MQTT stuff, you see that is just placeholders, so that we don't publish the actual information. So you modify this.
Yeah, that I already did in the other code, no?
Yeah, exactly. So then try to just put, for reading the serial, you have to declare this object and then ser read line, and that's what you're reading. Okay.
Yeah, I will try and let you know.
Okay. I'm putting Pablo also. I know that the dial is not there.
Sorry, I have a question. So I'm sending data, but how do I gather data from someone? I have a LED connected, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it right.
Give me a second. So let me put your inputs so that you have your couch in there.
Pablo, if you go to
is there anyone else? Go, Benjamin.
Yeah, Pablo, if you go to the reconnect function, and then in it there's client.subscribe, and that's where you put output / the name of the person you want to follow.
if you want, I can assign it here and you just put output/Pablo. It's up to you. I can assign it myself, or you can just subscribe to anyone else's data. And that's however you prefer.
So in the part that says set topic to subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I put, for example, output/Hala, David, Benjamin,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I should also change in the code the output let pin mode for the GPIO pin that I'm using, I suppose.
Sorry?
In the output where it usually was let pin, I should change it for the GPIO pin that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you want, yeah, just map that internally to whatever you want to.
Yeah, okay, let me check. Yeah, I'm just trying to blink a little, but it's not working.
Okay.
Hey, Oscar, how do you do if you want to subscribe to multiple users, not only one flute?
Yeah.
And then parse.
So there's, if you go to the documentation, you can, at the very beginning, before MQTT on Arduino IDE, there's one part that says wildcards. So you can use them in multiple levels. In this case, if you want to, for example, subscribe to all users, you would put output/hashtag or input/hashtag. Actually, the best in this case would be input/hashtag, and you will receive data from everyone.
And then how do you parse the data?
Then we'll have to see what the data, what format does it come into. I have to check that. I'm not sure. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So here. Oh. So here, subscribe. The message is published to the specific topic. The topic to subscribe is concerned returns true or false. Okay.
But you had to do it now to build the web page.
Yeah, but I am doing it in this way. So you see, if you look at the screen, what I'm saying, I do input/hashtag.
Yeah.
But and then this payload is like automatically mapped into each of you.
Okay.
But in Arduino, so if you do it in Python, it will be easy. If you're doing it in Python, so if you're doing it in Python, then I don't know. Wait a second. We're gonna look into PAHO documentation. PAHO MQTT. Example, multiple subscribe. Actually, well, you can subscribe to, you can have as many clients as you want. But if you want here, so callback. Yeah, so MQTT subscribe. So it uses, you see my screen here.
Yeah.
It uses the same syntax.
Yeah.
And then on message print. Okay. I think you can define different callbacks or just print the message itself has different like different properties. In this case, the topic, the quality of service, and the payload. So you can just take the topic itself and just print it first, and see that you're receiving, for example, input of as the topic, or each of them. So probably you will receive a lot of them with different, for example, input Benjamin, input blah blah, and each time this callback is gonna be triggered each time you receive a message, because you are gonna like everyone is sending the stuff asynchronously. So what you could do is just try to put that like map that into the function that is triggering your, I don't know if you're making music or something like that. So basically, and you can make conditions here. Edu, mute please. So, sorry, I got this a little bit. So you subscribe to everyone, and on message is whatever message you receive, you have this, you receive a message object, and you can access properties of that message, either the topic, the quality of service that you don't care at this moment, and the payload. And the payload is the value. And depending on that, you can say, okay, if message.topic equal input Benjamin Scott, then do something. Or if you want to just take anyone else, you don't put any if, you just say message.payload sent to music synthesizer. And no matter who sends something, it will be sent to your synthesizer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Thanks.
Right. Okay.
Óscar, it still doesn't work, I think.
Okay, so as your who is so as your progress. I don't know. Someone is publishing as God. Who is it? Is it Benjamin? Okay. Okay. Can you share your screen, Daphne?
Yeah. Okay. You're sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, one quick question. The value or the value that names the data received, it's payload?
Oh, sorry, what?
So I mean, if I get the data, I want I want to map the data, but the value name it's payload. How do I know the?
You are doing it in the Arduino or?
In Node MCU, but I mean, how do I call the data received? How is it called in the code?
Ah, okay.
I'm not sure if
Yes.
it's payload.
Yes. So if you go to callback, void callback, you will see serial print something, and then you see that it says string parentheses char asterisk whatever payload. So it's that one, yeah.
Wait, in the callback. Okay, if you go with Daphne, while I'll look for what you're saying.
Okay. So Daphne, go ahead.
Yeah. Ah, I hate Zoom.
We all do.
Yeah.
He's just trying to help you.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. QTT serial port. No. The first part. So line 11, you can delete it.
This one?
Yep, out.
Out.
Then line 14. Now line 13. Okay, no, so do something. In line 10, instead of serial port, just name that port, uppercase. Everything uppercase, the whole word.
Okay, sorry.
So you see that you are using that same variable in line 13?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and now, okay, with sensor, okay. That's it, just give it a try. Save and try.
Well, that does not look good.
Line 30, line 20. Okay, go back to the code.
Line 29.
Okay, can you select the whole thing?
The whole code?
Yeah.
And delete it?
Or select it.
What do you mean?
Just that, just do that, select it.
I have a necessary space.
Okay, no, because the thing, I think either, so go to selection or view. No, view. Font size. Maybe developer or something like that. No. Let me see. 1 second. Sensor region, sensor. Okay, no, sorry. Go back to your terminal. Yeah, let me see again the error problem. Terminal. Yeah, so it's saying inconsistent use of tabs and spaces in indentation.
Okay.
So that means that either you put tabs or spaces. And I don't know in Atom, probably some of you know, how to convert all tabs to spaces or all spaces to tabs. And there should be a way. I don't know, Benjamin or Antoine, that you use Atom, you know? No.
Yeah, you can do it in the settings, or else you can do a Shift Command P and tab auto indent, and then you will indent everything.
Shift what?
Are you on a Mac keyboard?
Yes.
Yeah, Shift Command P, and then you type auto indent. Yeah, that one.
Oh, but that made a little weird thing, didn't it?
But then you have to have double lines between your different functions in Python.
Oh. So.
No, so command Z in this case, and then so the problem is that in some places you have indent and in some places you have spaces. So I think that in line,
I remember.
So just do something in
Or if you want, you can also, with the same command, so the Shift Command P, type convert spaces to tab or tab to spaces. So with the Shift Command P, convert. Yeah. Tabs to spaces or spaces to tabs. The one you want.
Okay. Should I try if it worked or not?
I think it's gonna still give us a problem, but give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, but now he's not complaining about it. Now he's saying that could not open port, no such file or there. So that port doesn't exist.
Oh.
So whichever port you're using for the Arduino is not that one. Check it in there. Tools 146201. And in the thing you have written, go up. You have, there you go.
Yeah, that was a very stupid mistake.
Just remember, you don't have to type every time the same thing. If you do arrow up, it will show you the last comment.
I was wondering how long you would take to say this, Óscar.
I mean, you know that.
Instead of silently judging me.
But it's like object is required, not a string. Okay. Sensor reading strings. Okay. Here, we are gonna. I'm gonna send you a line to replace that. Give me a second. It's a matter of.
Yeah.
One second.
To replace what?
Sorry?
You told me you're gonna send me a file to replace what, a line to replace.
Yes, I'm working on it. Yes.
I don't know
Yes,
what to replace. I didn't hear.
yeah, I didn't send it yet. Open. Read. Okay. Serial device.
Sorry, while Oscar looks, maybe someone can help me. I still don't know how to declare the value I'm receiving. How do I call it? Like to say set pin digital 8 to sensor read analog write.
To receive or to send a value?
I mean, what's the name of the value I'm getting from the
It
network?
is. So in callback, it is payload. The payload arrives as an array of bytes, so it's not something you can just play around straight away with. So like all the serial print, you can ignore that. It's just to print it in your serial monitor. What you want to play with is the next line, which says string str payload, and that converts payload, the message you receive, into a string. But if you get numbers, then you want to then convert this into a number, which is done with, if you look further down, it says use received data here, and then it says str payload to int. That means it converts the string to an int, and that's str payload to int is the number you can use to play with, if it makes any sense.
Yes, it does. So so actually I could use that if string payload to int, blah, 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 higher than 5, and I could say digital write pin D2, which is the one I have, and change the low for string payload dot to int.
No, the low you want it to be high or low. It's just to set it, to tell the output what you want it to be.
No,
But
yeah, I mean, but
what's
what I want to do is to that the LED brightness depends of the payload of the information.
yeah, but it doesn't work like this. The LED brightness is only, you can only say low or high, which is on or off. If you want it to,
Okay,
if you
Oscar,
want
I
it,
think it works. Sorry to interrupt you
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
If you want to modify the, sorry, go ahead, Benjamin. Sorry,
yeah, if you want to modify the brightness, you need to make it blink more or less fast, so turn and off really quickly. So you probably want to create a loop that you put the str payload is how fast the delay or the delay would be, or I don't know exactly how you would do because PWM. So Oscar,
You can use
PWM library, yeah.
Yes, PWM library, and actually analog write is kind of a PWM library. You can use the analog write library to just write and take the LED.
Okay, I'm gonna try, but the value would be string payload.
String payload to int for it to be a number. So
But you will need to remap it because the analog write function works from 0 to 255, and probably your string payload is going to be completely different. So you need to remap. And to remap, for example, in the servo example of Arduino, there is a remap function. In Arduino servo knob, there is a remap function if you want to use it.
But I mean, for what should I change? I just shared the mapping function in the chat. For what should I change? Y or X? X, it's a string payload to int.
X is the value. The second one is actually what is the lower value possible of that value. The third one is the maximum possible of that value. Actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, let me check. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
kind of something like that. Yeah.
But what I mean is what it's Y and what it's X. Lo que no entiendo es cómo declaro el valor que recibo de la red.
You
¿Es solo
change
payload?
X,
It's only
X by a string payload. Yeah.
a string payload. Thank you.
To int.
Oscar,
Go ahead.
sending anything or not? It seems like it's working.
You are sending input. Can I see your code again? Could you share your screen, please?
Sí.
Because I think we're receiving something, but just as an input, not as input / Daphne, but let's have a look. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, exactly. So stop the code. You see, the first one that you sent is in line 40. That's like a hello from Python, and you're sending it into the topic input / Daphne. But in your while loop, in the line 50, you're sending the topic input only. So we are just receiving input, and you have to put the / Daphne. Otherwise, it just categorizes as normal data. Daphne, correct. Boom. Send it. And now, probably you have to, I don't know if you do Control C or Control D or Command C or something like that in the terminal. If not,
yeah,
just close it. And I mean, if you do this again, install a better terminal like.
I can't wait.
I know. So that these things don't end up in endless loops or things like this. It's fine. So perfect. And now I will start receiving it in a second. I'll put it and by the way, if you visit now the dashboard, you will see a very big got gouge now. I think it's Benjamin data.
So now it should work now.
Yeah, now it should. If you can check it yourself, go to the dashboard.
Yeah.
You are there. There you are. Daphne. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm there. I should have named me Princess Leia or something. It'd be more fun.
For this, I'm gonna put you in the couch.
Okay.
And then now is the moment that you can start playing with others' outputs. So take once you're publishing or reading data, start like trying to make things with others' data, others people, and see what they do. Otherwise, I will start publishing the CPU temperature of the Raspberry Pi, which is getting a little high.
Pablo, one thing, I think the analog write function doesn't actually work on the ESP32. I mean, write it and check it, but I think I tried to use it once and it said it's not. It's for Arduinos.
I don't know about the ESP32, but ESP8266 just has one analog pin. All of the others are digital.
Yeah, on the ESP32, there's loads of analog pins, but if you're using the Wi-Fi, you can't use like some of them. You can't use the ADC2 ones, which is like pin 25, 26, 27, 14, 12, and 13.
Yes, I'm using an 8266. Let me check the code. It's loading to see if it works.
What is your sensor, Daphne?
I just posted on the chat in case the analog write didn't work because it's something that I actually never trained the SP32. How to do it with PWM.
What did you ask me, Oscar?
What's your sensor?
Joystick. But I'm sending only
I
the
see.
value.
Okay. So now someone could take Daphne's data and put it in, I don't know, something else. That would be, imagine, that would be super cool. Like Daphne starts controlling someone else's LED on their home or turn on the lights on someone else's like that. I mean, that's the whole thing, you know?
Daphne always
Love to control people with the joystick.
Oscar, quick question. Miso and Mosi pins, are they just kind of normal pins or they are like?
Yeah, they come by different purposes, yeah. It's digital pin, I think.
Yeah, it's good, just anything.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like the Miso is not a suit the other day, it's funny.
Andrea, are you still alive? If you're still alive, could you move your sensor to see if it's working? I think it's working with the 8266 with the LED, but I'm not sure because Andrea's signal it's not changing. But anyway, if not, I can connect to Daphne's.
Whose?
I still have the same problem that the Wi-Fi setup was not declared in the scope. And
That's probably a syntax error.
I'm sorry, what?
Since the code that you paste has a set of Wi-Fi, if when you compile it, it says, I don't know what is set of Wi-Fi function because I don't know what it is, it's probably because there is a bracket or an extra bracket that you didn't have to put, or you miss one or something like that. So everything is between. So if you put anything else, let's check that part. So because it happened to me that I put an if and something wasn't right, or I just put it and say, well, we'll end it that somehow. And so maybe it's that.
I think I checked and I cannot see something extra. I don't know why.
So maybe if, I don't know, this thing, if it comes from Arduino IDE or any framework like that, but try just to put the Wi-Fi setup before the setup function.
Okay, just allow or in a setup void?
No, alone, so outside of it. It would look like a void setup Wi-Fi, open bracket, close bracket, and then void setup, open bracket, close bracket. Does it work?
I had the same message also for the callback, and I'm doing the same now with the callback.
Okay. Okay, is anyone trying something else with outputs? Maybe David, can you share with us what you did with the noise again?
I changed my name, David, to God, so maybe you have to change your cards, your code, so it's not working. Sorry. Or maybe I can change my code back to
Humble.
No, leave it in God because I like the huge gouge in the dashboard.
Yeah, I didn't see it was quite funny.
well, the noise sensor broke a bit and I fixed it up. What I did, let me share my screen, but I put the atom, so I redacted the part of the Wi-Fi and everything else. So, compartir pantalla, comparticiones. Okay. Well, what I did is take the input class that I did with the noise sensor and try to paste it. Paste the example that we have and change the topics. So it's important to change the topics. And for the speaker, I have a digital output and I work with setup. Okay. I have this function. Do you see it? Do you need more zoom?
I see it. It's fine.
Okay. The sound. You take the frequency. I have an array of frequencies, of chromatic frequencies. I took them from Roger. There is a link in my output and in his output. A noise level and a milliseconds of duration. I use the analog write frequency to set up the frequency I want. Then I set up a max amplitude. The amplitude is, we use PWM to set this kind of amplitude. And I set a number of in between. That because in this case, because I'm using another MCU, this one, this range from 0 to 1024. So I take the middle one. If I say 0, it's going to be, if I go to 125, it's going to be always on. So I need to set up the little bit. And for that, I have a milliseconds of duration of the note. This is only for the speaker goes on one note. I with some noise. And I divide the milliseconds in each of 20 milliseconds. And with that, I set the amplitude. I set up a random value that is variable each time it goes of 26 plus the noise. So if you say noise 0, it's perfect, normal, and if you say the noise in 8, because the 8 is too much value, so it gets noise.
Okay, so you did two things here. You did a small MIDI sequencer, but do it yourself with Arduino, and synthesizer as well to modify the output of the noise, which is very cool. Now let's see a demo. Let's see a live demo of it.
And the last part of this network thing is that in the callback function, when I receive any message that is over 3000, I set a random duration. I said maybe it's a silence or maybe it's a note, and I pick a random noise, a random note from the 8 I have, and the duration I set up, and I send it. If it doesn't go over the threshold, I set the analog ping to 0, so it keeps silence, because if you do that, it will keep sounding as it were sounding. So
perfect.
And in this case, I have the grounds and the digital 4. That in this case is the pin number 2, and I have 2 pins, and I have here a mono speaker with a mono jack. So this is a mono jack. We could use any other speaker or headphones or something like that, so it's the same. In this case, I found that this is the ground and this is the signal.
Okay.
But when I put it there, it doesn't make any difference if I put it in somewhere. So I have here the D4 and I have here the ground, and I just put it here.
Okay.
So when I want it to sound, I need to stay like this.
Okay.
So
for now, until you have a proper connector. So can you make another demo again with your OpenView?
Yeah, Benjamin, can you put it the sound, please?
Did you change it so it's the right link? Because I changed.
Wait.
I am going up slowly. Actually, I'm going to go quicker.
No, I don't receive any message for you. From you.
No, it's because I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, seconds. Yeah. I might have. Yeah, I'm gonna re-output as my old name.
Because David, Benjamin changed it to God instead of Benjamin Scott.
Incredible. What kind of person does this? I can change back, so don't change anything. I'm just gonna re-output.
So
yes.
In this case, I could make more things receiving that number, but in this case, that it was the first thing I say, just on and off, and make the random thing. But I could set up the randomness, the sound, or something like that with the potentiometer.
Hey, hey, hey. Sounds like somebody's doorbell. Bring it closer to your microphone.
Yeah, put the speaker closer to the microphone, David.
I don't know where is the microphone here.
There. Distributed performance.
It's like somebody who can't sing happy birthday to you.
Well, in the output class, I'm trying also to make some melodies, a King song of, but I'm still trying to do it, and I don't know how to module the volume. So it keeps always talking in this space, and I want to handle the volume, but I don't know how.
Are you drinking in class, Benjamin?
No, it's the sound of the kitchen.
Officially, class finished earlier. We are in overtime.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I started it a bit earlier.
You could map the temperature of your beer to someone's output.
Or how much is in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be 0.
Which is inversely related to your happiness level.
To my smiles. Also, talking about outputs, I'm going through breadboard hell. I want to display it, but I've finished wiring now. It's time to code it. But I can't do it right now because I have to go actually work in like 40 minutes. So, but if people continue broadcasting for the rest of the day, then we can all play.
I think I will keep the Node-RED and the MQTT open so you can play and visit the thing. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be modifying anything. So just connect to each other and that's it. The MQTT broker is secure, so don't worry, there's no problem. The only thing that is not secure at this moment is that you're viewing the interface as HTTP, but not as HTTPS. But there's no problem because you're not sending any password data or anything. So you should be all fine. And on my side, it's all the same. There shouldn't be any problem. So I don't mind leaving this for today. Not more days because probably a hacker could just go into my network home, but it shouldn't.
That could be our assignment. Hack.
If you manage, that would be amazing.
Okay,
Guys,
thank you for everything,
so much
guys.
for your help. I have to go eat.
Yeah, we need to finish the homework for the next class.
Yeah, we have class in an hour, but thank you. It was
Gracias
fun.
por todo.
Of course.
Gracias.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye. I think it was quite nice how everybody we all did our stuff without talking. If you need help, you can connect and speak and say something, but without having to speak on stuff. I don't know if Santi's still around. No, is he gone? No.
Too late.
Yeah. Monday morning, 10.
I just want to ask you something. I wrote it in chat, but I just want to ask, what is the difference between MQTTS, MQTTWSS? Like, is it like a different protocol, or it's just same variation of the same?
MQTT what? MQTT what?
I answered in the chat if you want.
You did?
I answered in the chat, but I said I'm guessing. Well, I'm guessing that MQTTS is secure like HTTPS, and then WS means WebSocket and WSS means WebSocket secure. But then I'm saying this, I'm just guessing. Oscar is the man to... Or Josep, he's not been talking.
Oscar is the master of that. I'm really very bad at this, so I cannot answer a lot of questions about this.
Yeah, no, it is. So, but it's a WebSocket server, yeah. So you have like MQ, at least, I don't know exactly about this WSS.
I know that there's WSS, so you can connect to WebSocket when you're on an HTTPS website. If you're on an HTTPS protocol, you can't connect to WebSocket. But if you're on HTTPS, you can connect to WebSocket secure. Basically, both ends need to be secure.
So what I don't know is if S is WSS, because I've seen things that say WSS is WebSocket secure or WebSocket server. So
the WebSocket server is like the library for WebSocket, and then you choose the protocol for WebSocket secure. I know this when I played the other day, and I was trying to access the thing, and they said you have to use WSS ...
So there's actually I'm just reading. I don't know about this actually. But I see that in ESP IDF there's an implementation for that. JMeter. Oh wow, there are quite a few.
I'm leaving to hotlines. Have a good weekend.
Did anyone else make any other output before we close? Because I think
I just tried different tools. Like I tried Grasshopper, I tried processing as well. The Grasshopper library didn't work. I don't know why. Like I tried to see what's the difference, but it's like maybe they update something in their code and it's not matching with my SDK in Grasshopper. And the processing, it doesn't have any place for password when you're like putting the connection for the client. So it's like, it's just a public.
Only for MQTT that don't check. But in this case, we check for the user and password. So if they don't allow for putting it, which I think is a little bit silly for a library to not do that. We'll probably should dig into deeper, but you need the user and a password. In this.
Yeah. I just could have put like a address and like a broker and a username. It didn't have any place for password.
A second.
Subject.
Okay. Did you manage to do anything with the noise, the sound, Antoine?
No, not really. I'm still on it, and I found a Python synthesizer lips, but it takes a lot of time actually.
If you want, what we can do, so that it doesn't extend at least the recording. What we can do is I can leave it running.
Yeah.
And you guys can play so that we can have lunch, and I would just leave it playing. And I don't think I will leave it running for more than a day, but at least for this evening, I'll have it in here. And I will be connected to Riot or email. So I'll be working in my computer, so you can ping me and we can try to solve something in a quick Jitsi call or a Zoom meeting or something.
Do you have a link to a tutorial to kind of make and host our own MQTT worker? So that if, do you have a link?
You want to do it yourself?
Yeah, because I think with Antoine we were talking about connecting between each other and messing around and stuff. And so I don't know if we use MQTT, but maybe just I guess we can find it easily, but I don't know if you already have something.
So
I have a Raspberry Pi as well, which I could use.
So if you go to FabLab ECM project, I'll send you the link. It's in the GitLab. Multi-networking and remote. I'll send you this link. So if you go there, I put the examples, and then in the README, it says using with a Raspberry Pi and Node-RED. So it says set up a Raspberry Pi using the following instructions from here, and you configure access MQTT and Node-RED. Then you install Node-RED dashboard, and then follow all those links so that you can make the Raspberry Pi somehow secure. I can help you with you do all that, but all the things are there, all the instructions, so that anyone can replicate it. And of course, if you want to improve it or make any contributions, feel free to make a pull request or an issue or something in that repo, and we build on it. This is just like yesterday's documentation. And if you want, I don't mind leaving my Raspberry Pi for longer, but the only thing is that it would be nice that it's used. Otherwise, I cut it so that it doesn't like get attacked or anything. Because right now there's an open port. I could get attacked by someone that tries to do anything.
We could do it on our computer also, no? Without.
Yes, exactly.